effects of greenhouse effects. So greenhouse effect, the air temperature is increased. Then when this thing continues over a long period, it will amount to what we call the global warming, whereby the whole world will now, exercise what we are exercising, and then will produce some negative consequences on the environment and the people therein. Now let's consider the causes of these climate change. Whatever I'm going to mention as the cause of climate change will still go back to any activity that ends up producing these greenhouse gases is the cause of climate change. Not this activity itself. If I say deforestation as a cause, what is wrong with it? Something is happening because in the process of deforestation, you clear the land, you cut the firewood and whatever. Something is happening whereby some carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. In one of the charts I have for this seminar, I've shown you that carbon dioxide is, in fact, the greatest factor responsible for greenhouse effects. Irresponsible for climate change is 60%. Other things are there. So, let us consider the causes of the greenhouse effect. I mentioned the deforestation. Deforestation. Why is deforestation? What is deforestation? What's going on now? I don't know why they say in your side where you come from. That because of the removal of the subsidy, that firewood market is becoming very lucrative these days. Have you observed in your area? Yes. And you may not know. So apart from me complaining about the hardship, you know that this removal of the subsidy has impact on the climate change. Yes. The other way around does also contain the use of what? Generator. Because people are no more burning generator in the night. Are you with me? Yes. So I don't know how to solve this problem, because one way, when you push to this other side, advantage is there and disadvantage is there. It's only God that will help us out of the situation. Right. Deforestation, when you cut the trees, whether for felling of bush, for planting, or for fabrication purposes, or for timber work or whatever, in the process you are destroying what I call the carbon bank. Because carbon is deposited in the plant. Every tree carries carbon. And when you cut it, the carbon bank is destroyed. Automatically, you release it back to the atmosphere. It will go out. Now, another thing we also understand is that, in some certain anabolic processes, when plants will use carbon dioxide and water to manufacture what? Photosynthesis. And all the carbon dioxide will release into the air. Nature has a way of taking care of them. The plants will absorb them to manufacture what? Carbohydrates. So by the time you cut the tree, you involved in cutting the trees, you know that a lot of them will pile up in the atmosphere. Will pile up in the atmosphere. Pile up in the atmosphere. So nature has a way, even when the respiration of the plant, when the plant respires, when it respires, you send out carbon dioxide, and that same plant will also utilize the carbon dioxide. By so doing, a balance is being created, and it does not become much a problem. So deforestation is a major factor of climate change. Major factor of climate change. A major factor, which I've mentioned. Then we have mentioned the oil and gas activities, which my colleagues will speak about the oil and gas activities. All this device exploration, whatever is happening in the Niger Delta, we know that it's making this environment, vulnerable to climate change. Oil and gas are burning, extraction of these petroleum products. Methane gas is released to the atmosphere. Deforestation, a lot of carbon dioxide is released to the atmosphere. These are greenhouse gases. In cracking of petroleum products and even the exploration and extraction, methane gases are released to the atmosphere. These things, has negative effect as this climate change water. Now, the land uses the way most of the cultural practices. When you are digging the ground, you involve in tillage. A lot of trees are going out. Carbon is liberated to the atmosphere. The soil is a carbon bank. Talk about carbon sequestration. This is where carbon are deposited. So when you do that with the soil, you dig the soil, the process of cultivation, you expose some of the carbon that were deposited inside the soil, you expose it to the environment. In the process, it is done. Then urbanization, all the big structures and the building. Urbanization, look at it. For you to establish a township, you must involve what? Deforestation, as it goes. Then the building structures within the city. The building structures, all these buildings, they absorb heat. That's why you go to a typical village, it's very calm and chill compared to the temperature we have in the urban. So all these things will create a climatic environment within the mega system. Understand? So these are the things, even in the urban areas, you see the concentration of motor vehicles, motorcycles, all these things are vehicles of combustion. They are burning fuels, fossil fuels are being burned, and the process methane gas, carbon dioxide is emitted into the atmosphere and constitute the greenhouse gases with greenhouse effect and make the environment to turn to something else. The waste management, the landfills, you go to something road, you see where they honestly they just keep it like that. You know the number the amount of methane gas liberated from that place, the methane gas in that place liberated to the atmosphere. All this is exposed to environment to what we are talking about. So you must get a good knowledge of climate change. I can recall once a day the present president was interviewed about the climate change issue when he came to the office newly. Something asking, what are you going to do in the area of climate change? I know the man just answered the question because he didn't have the knowledge of climate change. He told those people he will not do anything about climate change. Unless you give us what? Money. If you want us to do something about climate change, you give us what? Money. When the president answered, I know that he didn't have any good knowledge of what? Climate change. It's not easy to be a president of a nation because you must get the knowledge of every sector of the economy. The press can hold a ransom and just ask you a question that you don't have the good knowledge of it. And if you're not very technical, you fall into it. So when the president answered, I knew he didn't have good knowledge of climate change. Because they will have to do some other way of tackling such issues. Are you with me? Yes. So, right, we also see agricultural practices. A lot of what we use in agriculture, a lot of things are going on. Most even the manure, the fertilizer we are using, most of this nitrate-rich manure. You know that they will break nitrous oxide into the air, and then they release it to the air, and they consider a problem to us. So fertilizer itself that we are using is a problem to the system and can also formulate into all these things. So we also talk about the inadequate environmental population, and enforcement work. Environmental, no, you don't know how to do it. Government don't know how to regulate. Their policy, by police perspective, the gas trading, people are into illegal bunkering, they burn whatever they are burning in the Niger Delta, and all those things are going. We think gas and this is important to the atmosphere. Okay. Then what are the impacts? Before you know all these I've mentioned, before we talk about the effect of the climate change on the early education, we should also, in the first place, understand the impact that's created in society. You must know the impact of society, because what affects society will affect you. So the first place for you to know the impact of what I call the climate change on the environment we are. So before I go into that, let me just mention to you, what are the impacts of this change? You talk about the rising sea levels and coastal erosion. Rising sea levels, excessive extreme weather events, flood. You know, because of the high increase in temperature somewhere that leads to global warming in glaciated regions, in ice regions, the ice are melting. And because of that, it has an impact on the volume of water in seas and oceans and the body of rivers. So, you see a rise in the level of water because of excessive precipitation. And when that happens, you discover that you end up in erosion, coastal erosion. Go to the water from the seas and the rivers are coming, penetrating into the hinterland. People are being displaced because of coastal erosion. People, what happens if you were to be in the coastal, you live in a low-lying area? Even within our region here, and you happen to build your house about 20 years ago, before you know, that place has become a low-lying area. And such a place is susceptible to erosion and flood. I've seen one story building along Ikorokono sometimes ago, the whole place was flooded. It was not so for the beginning, but times have changed. So in a this situation, if a person has done that, he would have raised a DPC of such a building. But because he didn't do that, the whole place was flooded. Right. We have seen. Okay. We have seen that. Then also the increased frequency of extreme weather, the storms we have these days, different. So that's the impact of climate change. The storms that we have in seas and all those things, then changes in rainfall pattern, which I said before. The changes you have in rainfall pattern, the rainfall pattern that you have in the place. Then the livelihood, some people, your job, what you're doing. Some people are not doing the job. When you are displaced, it will affect your livelihood. Your farm may be flooded, and because of that, you don't receive that. Then like the degradation, I've mentioned on how can happen. Excessive rainfall will bring about erosion. You will wash down your soil and make your soil useless for agricultural purposes. These are some of these things that we are experiencing. Then what is the concept of early education? Education, in summary, education for children from the age of 0, the primary, creche, then to kindergartens, elementary part of the education. For people, for the age bracket of 0 to 9 years. So we are talking about elementary education. A child at this moment is a very small child. And that is the formative stage of a child. At that level, we are trying to push the child, trying to build up a child, to make a child